All right, so now we are going to get into our most anticipated movies of 2024. So I'll start with this one. And honestly, I feel like my approach to this one was really different because a lot of the franchise films that I wanted to see, most of them came out this year. So like that's kind of like wrapped up a lot of my like big franchise excitement, but there were a few that still managed to make my list and some others that are like less on the nostalgia and more on like just they sound and look good. But actually kicking off my number 10 is actually a movie that the trailer kind of won me over, which is Inside Out 2. Of any of the Pixar movies, this kind of looks like it could have a really good sequel. And it could either be the most unnecessary or the most amazing sequel of next year. But I am very curious, and the animation looks great again. You got Amy Poehler as Joy and some new cast members, not all of which we have yet been revealed. Number 9, I went with another one where the trailer just won me over, even though I think it's an incredibly unnecessary movie, and that's Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Again, I don't think they need to be making more, let alone 7 years after War for the Planet of the Apes ended the Caesar trilogy so well. But the fact that this one is actually taking place like 100 years later and sort of showing like the apes trying to take over the world, I think could be interesting. And from the trailer, it looks like it could be like a cool theater watch. So I'm actually curious after the trailer, especially, it's not a direct continuation of War for Apes. It's set like far after any of the characters from the last movie existed. Number 8, I went with Mickey 17. This is directed by Bong Joon-ho and starring Robert Pattinson. I don't know too much about the plot besides Robert Pattinson is some sort of clone. But it's a sci-fi movie. I love sci-fi. I love original sci-fi. I was probably the biggest fan of this year's The Creator, and we definitely need a lot more original sci-fi in theaters than we do Fast and Furious movies or whatever. And this one just is great, looks great, and it's got I almost said John Wick, Bong Joon-ho, sorry. And he's a master. He's such a singular director. Number 7 is Gladiator 2. Look, Ridley Scott, I'm not gonna like defend Napoleon or make you angry here. I'm not gonna defend House of Gucci, but The Last Duel and The Martian and Alien Covenant show that he still has it in him and that he's still like, this one could be interesting. I think the thing that really wins me over here is Paul Mescal. He's such a great actor, such an amazing actor who, you could just put him in a movie and I'll want to watch it right now. And then number 6 is actually a movie that doesn't have a title yet. It's just the untitled Jordan Peele movie, which, I don't know what it's going to be yet. I just know that it's a Jordan Peele movie, and that already makes me want to pick it over most of the movies coming out this year.
Only one I'm going to throw your way is recently the Jordan Peele movie actually got taken off of the 2024 release schedule. So I don't know. I'm not saying that it's.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. I saw it like a couple weeks ago. The only thing is, so I don't know if this will qualify still for 2024. It might not come out until 2025, or it might get released earlier. I don't know. I just saw that it was taken off of its Christmas Day release spot.
Okay, well, it's still listed as 2024. I didn't know that it's not Christmas anymore, but
okay,
Like
I said, I wasn't sure. I just wanted to make you.
No, but good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. So yes, that was your number 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, my most anticipated. It's the same thing as kind of the worst stuff. I don't really do most anticipated lists anymore. Like obviously, there are the movies that I'm looking forward to. But like you said, a majority of the franchise movies that were supposed to come out next year either came out this year or got delayed to 2025 and beyond. So this list is going to seem really obscure and weird. But bear with me. I just also want to shout out a couple of honorable mentions. I have Deadpool 3, Rebel Moon Part 2, which I did enjoy. Okay. So my number. All right. So my number 10 is Maxine, which is the third in the upcoming, which is the third of the Ty West's horror trilogy that he started with X and Pearl, both of which came out last year in 2022. Yeah, X really surprised me and ended up making my top 10 best of 2022. I did not get a chance to watch Pearl yet, but if Maxine is going to be any one of those two, then you can count me in. Mia Goth returns to reprise her role as Maxine. What's it called? Along with a supporting cast.
X was so good.
Yeah, that includes the likes of. Elizabeth Debicki, Giancarlo Esposito, Kevin Bacon, Michelle Monaghan, Bobby Cannavale, and
Bacon.
Lily Collins, and Halsey. Cannot wait for this one. My number 9 is...
That's crazy.
By number 9, another director who's been kind of seen like a post-blockbuster renaissance, Guy Ritchie, his next film with the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, starring Henry Cavill.
Oh, that's gonna be awesome.
Henry Cavill set to have like a really big like 1-2 punch this year with both Matthew Vaughn's Argyle, which actually opens in a couple weeks, as well as this movie Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which basically sees like the formation of a couple of modern day spy agencies as a result of some of the clandestine combat fights that took place in World War II under Winston Churchill and Ian Fleming, the author of the James Bond books. It has a supporting cast that consists of Isa Gonzalez, Carrie Elwes, Henry Golding, Alan Ritson, and Babs Olusan Mokan. So that's another one that I'm really looking forward to. My number 8 is M. Night Shyamalan's Trap. M. Night Shyamalan is one who, again, has been pretty hit or miss the last couple of years, but considering how entertained I was by Old, I was entertained by it, though.
Old was horrible. No.
And how big of a surprise.
Worse than Barbie.
Yeah, but how big of a surprise Knock at the Cabin was.
That was great.
That was really good, really surprising. So Trap is a movie that currently does not have a cast other than Josh Hartnett that has been confirmed yet, and the plot is unknown. All that it is said is that it is a psychological thriller set in a concert, and like I said, anything M. Night Shyamalan, he's proved that he's one of the few original voices left. So anything that he makes, I look forward to. My number 7 is a movie that was supposed to come out last year and got delayed as a result of the strike, that being Luca Guadagnino's Challengers, starring Zendaya, Mike Face, and Josh O'Connor. That trailer is probably one of my favorite trailers that came out last year, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing that when it hits theaters in April this year. And my number 6, wrapping it up, is another one from Yorgos Lanthimos, the next film that he is set to do post Poor Things, Kinds of Kindness, which was recently titled And. This is a movie that will be starring Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, Hong Chow, Willem Dafoe, Joe Alwyn, Margaret Qualley, Kiki Palmer, and Hunter Schafer and Mamadou Athie, which tells 3 separate stories with the casts all playing different characters in each one. If this movie is anything...
That's really cool.
Like Poor Things, I will definitely very much be looking forward to it. That's my 10 through 6.
Those are fantastic choices. I kind of refrained from choosing them just because I didn't see them on like having a dated release date yet, because they're not like the super like cash cow movies. But that's all that made me forget that they existed for a moment. But definitely excellent choices all around.
Thank you.
My number 5 is Argyle. Actually, is coming out in a few weeks. This looks like a lot of fun, and honestly, like, why would I don't know, just the trailer told me, like, why would I go watch the new Ghostbusters or the new Godzilla over something like Argyle, which looks like tons of fun. You got a cast that includes Sam Rockwell, Bryce Dallas Howard, Ariana DeBose, John Cena, so it's gonna be just really great to see them have a lot of fun. Matthew Vaughn, I didn't like The King's Man, but I hope that's just one miss for him, and that this one is actually as fun as it looks. Number 4 is Furiosa, a Mad Max saga, which, you know, everyone knowing how good Mad Max Fury Road is, this looks like a lot of that. And casting Anya Taylor-Joy as young Furiosa is the icing on the cake. Chris Hemsworth looks insane in this movie, but it looks like he's going to fit into the world of the wasteland really well. Number 3, The Fall Guy. This is another trailer that just won me over, and this looks like it's going to be like one of those action movie events of this year. Again, you know, why would I go watch like some franchise movie when you have The Fall Guy, which is directed by David Leitch, starring Ryan Gosling as a stuntman, and they're really investing with a budget into like those like filming the fake franchise movie scenes. You got Emily Blunt, Winston Duke, Hannah Waddingham, and what more can I say? I do not know. But number 2 is Deadpool 3. And the reason Deadpool 3 is up so high is I've not seen any of the leaks, and I'm not one of the people who will like automatically hate on Marvel, but the first 2 were so much fun. And if Ryan Reynolds and I believe Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick are writing again, if they get that same creative freedom, this could be fun. And, you know, they have a bigger sandbox they are writing again. And if they have a bigger sandbox of content to make fun of, then bring on Deadpool 3.
Yeah, Deadpool 3 was very close to making my top 10 list, and unfortunately, it just didn't. Unfortunately, like, I don't know, like I said, the strike instance, and like I've seen other instances of them like trying to invest heavily in like one superhero movie, and I'm hoping it'll be as good as the first two, but I don't know. It's got a lot of legwork in order to really impress me, given just how low the bar of quality has become for Marvel overall. But going into my 5 through 2, like I said, the cool thing about my most anticipated is this is the first year in a long time where, for the most part, with the exception of one choice on here, all of these are originals for the most part. Like, yeah, okay, Maxine is technically a sequel, and Challengers is an adaptation of real life event. But for the most part,
it's a different kind of movie.
Right. For the most part, these are all original concepts and everything. My number 5 is one that you already talked about, Mickey 17, the next film from Bong Joon-ho, post Parasite. This is a movie that stars Robert Pattinson, Mark Ruffalo, Naomi Ackie, Toni Collette, and it's going to be a sci-fi thriller set in space where, like you said, Robert Pattinson is playing clones. Bong Joon-ho, I've been getting into some more of his movies recently. He always hits it. I'm really excited to see what he does with this premise with sci-fi. My number 4 is The Fall Guy, which you literally just talked about. Like I said, this is another movie from David Leitch, who already kicked ass last year with Bullet Train. I'm really excited that he's going into more original action movies as opposed to just doing like franchises and adaptations like he was doing the last couple of years. I was a little worried after Hobbs and Shaw, but now that you've got a movie that is basically like a takedown of all. I
wasn't crazy about Hobbs and Shaw either.
Right, but now you essentially have a movie that is a takedown of all of these modern day like action franchises. You know, with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, not to mention a great supporting cast: Aaron Taylor Johnson, Winston Duke, Stephanie Hsu. To say the least, I'm really looking forward to this. I'm hoping that it's going to be as funny and as engaging as Bullet Train is. I'm hoping that like they purposefully withheld a lot of the best jokes from the trailer that they actually are going to save for the movie. It's something that I wish more movie trailers would do more frequently. Yeah, my number 3 is Robert Eggers' next film, Nosferatu. I'm hoping that it's going to be a return to form. I was not a huge fan of The Northman, but this is a movie that is basically, it is sort of a remake. I liked all of his movies. This movie is sort of a remake.
I liked all of his movies.
Not really. Where you basically have it's told from the woman's perspective, which I believe the original Nosferatu was as well. But this is also, I'm hoping that this is also sort of a takeoff on Shadow of the Vampire in 2000, where Willem Dafoe already played a version of Nosferatu, but Willem Dafoe is coming back for this. This will be his 3rd collaboration with Robert Eggers after The Lighthouse and The Northman. But this movie will star Bill Skarsgård as the titular Count Orlok, along with Lily Rose Depp, Nicholas Hoult, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Emma Corrin, and Willem Dafoe. I'm really looking forward to this. I can't wait to see what Robert Eggers does. He has proven himself to be one of the filmmakers to definitely keep an eye out for as time goes on. And my number 2, possibly my favorite of the new film brats. I was sad that this movie didn't come out last year the way that it was supposed to, but the trailers have got me really excited for this one. Alex Garland's Civil War, in terms of capturing, you know, basically the feeling of where America is right now and kind of where we could potentially be going in the next couple of years, depending on where this election cycle goes. Yeah, this is another one kind of like in the same vein of Leave the World Behind, but it's going for it on more of like a grandiose basis.
This trailer came out like a day after I saw Leave the World Behind. I was like, this looks like the sequel to Leave the World Behind.
Yeah, pretty much. I wouldn't be surprised if these movies are connected in some way, but it's Alex Garland. Whenever you have Alex Garland with A24, you can never go wrong. I know not a lot of people liked Men when that came out. I personally really enjoyed it. I
loved Men.
I really enjoyed that one. So yeah, my number 2 is Civil War.
I also really liked his miniseries Devs.
Yes.
Which also has Kaylee Spaney and Stephen McKinley Henderson, which are in this.
Yes.
Yeah, I think this one looks great too.
Yeah, really excited.
Again,
for
definitely would watch it over like Godzilla or something.
Yeah, to say the least.
But I hate to be that guy. But my number 1 movie, most anticipated, is a franchise movie.
It's Dune Part 2.
It is Dune Part 2.
It's Dune Part 2. You know why? Because that's my number 1 too.
Wow. We were almost perfect with our number 1s.
Almost perfect. We almost
Oppenheimer
had
number 1 and number 2.
And number 2. Yeah, that was, oh man, we were so close. We were so close to having all 4 tied. That's crazy.
Bro, honestly, the trailer for Dune, it was supposed to come out this year. They delayed it.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Instead, we got Aquaman 2, which was just as good. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, honestly, I remember the trailer played the most recent trailer played in front of Oppenheimer, and I was like, why is this trailer getting me emotional? But it just looks amazing. It looks like a sort of Return of the King level conclusion, and I can't wait. I think I'm gonna watch the first Dune a 3rd time in order to prepare for it. Every shot of this movie looks so good, and if this movie is as good as it turns out, it's gonna be one of my favorites of 2024.
Yeah, I can't wait for this. Like I said, this movie getting pushed from November to March, I feel like already kind of ruined November of this past year because I don't think I really liked any movie that really came out in the entire month of November. But yeah, this movie, I mean, it's the spectacular, gobsmacking second half of the book, which is the more action-packed section. Man, this is where all the marbles are gonna come out. You got all the returning cast members from the first one, plus a couple of new ones. Like I said, Austin Butler's Fade Rauta,
Except Jason Momoa and
Oscar Isaac, exactly. But keep an eye out for if he ends up doing Dune Messiah in the future. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, you like I said, Austin Butler's Fade Rauta, Florence Pugh as Hyrule, and Christopher Walken as the Emperor. Which I'm like, holy shit! Like, when was the last time Christopher Walken was in a movie this big? I cannot wait for this fucking movie. Just the action sequences alone are going to be insane. You got Josh Brolin fighting Dave Bautista again, but not as Thanos and Drax this time. Yeah, I can't freaking wait for this movie. This movie's going to be the tits, to say the least. I cannot freaking wait for Dune Part 2.
Yeah, honestly, like, this is great that it's coming out early in the year and that, you know, usually my most anticipated comes out like mid-year or end of the year. So I'm glad that we're getting Dune Part 2 so soon. I will be there opening night, hopefully IMAX 3D or whatever, and I'll just be cheering, emotional, etc. I haven't even read the book, so I don't even know what's going to happen, and hoping to keep it that way because I'm just going to be, I know I'm going to be amazed by it.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, to say the least.
So yeah, wow, that was a very packed episode and a very special one. Dom, where can people find you all over the online and social media?
Yeah, absolutely. You can follow me on my personal profile at Movie Nerd Reviews on all platforms. You can also follow the official Talking TV podcast across all platforms as well. We usually do about one live stream a week, and then I usually post about a bunch of YouTube shorts throughout the rest of the week. But keep an eye out. I got some fun bonus things planned for the rest of the year, this year, especially once a certain HBO show involving some dragons makes its big return later on this year in the summer. Also, there is another pretty big popular show from the last 20 years that is officially hitting 20 years this year. So definitely keep an eye out for that as well. Like I said, subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitch. Our audio episodes are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And like I said, at Movie Nerd Reviews and at Official Talking TV Podcast for everything else.
Thank you, Dom. And you can also find him, you can find me on his channel. And yeah, it's been great. And again, let us know what you agree with, disagree with, which ones we missed, which ones had you most excited to see, which ones had you disagreeing. And yeah, till next time.